Hey guys, check out this cool project we created with scrap MDF, Bondo, and Stonecoat Countertop Epoxy. So enjoy the video, let us know what you think, and leave us a comment below. Hey guys, Rhonda Draculis here with RK3 Designs, and I have a special guest today, and we're going to do a special pour for my daughter's new hair salon. Here we go. So what we're going to do is a dirty pour, and we're going to use actual colors from Erica. Her studio is Artist Till Death.
So the first color we're going to use is Base from Color Passion. It's a white. It gives you great cells, but it has to be under other colors that you use. That's why it's called a base.
Yeah, so and she's going to do it. She's going to tint it pretty opaquely because we want a pretty opaque consistency. And so what we'll do is we'll look at the stick and see if we can see wood grain. And if we can, then we'll add a little bit more product.
Halo next.
Let's do Halo next.
Okay. So Halo is actually a glitter. It's made by Just Resin. These are all from different brands that we carry on our website, but we're like a one-stop shop for these. So this is an actual glitter, but it's a very high quality glitter. So none of the colors will come off into your resin. What did we talk about?
Kind of like dye. It won't.
Right, it's not a dyed glitter.
Yeah, not exactly. It won't run, I guess. This is like bling on steroids. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now this is probably my very favorite, Erica. She turned me on to this one. And this is Milky Way. And it looks in the jar almost like a glitter. But it melts like butter once you put it in. And this you really can't overload too much because I've tried. So
we've used a lot of that stuff.
We've used a lot. I'm using it a lot because I really want this thing to have some bling in it. But even though it's kind of a powder, look how it just melts. Okay.
So this is Almond by Just Resin.
And I love how they meld into when you go to stir them. It's beautiful.
And it doesn't like puff up in your face like when you use just a lot of micas. So you have to worry about breathing anything in. And it mixes in so easily. You don't have to worry about those like freckles of paint not melting in, or I can get lost in some of these colors.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So because we're using different material and we're going to be adding some more spray paint, that's really going to cause some fantastic, what am I trying to say, effects on the top of the table. So that's why we kind of call it an exotic pour, because it's the way to get really exotic looking stone. All right, so I'm going to tint. And the reason I'm doing two whites is because, like I said, they're two different materials. So when they clash, they're going to fight and cause some really cool effects. Now, tinting with your spray paint, you're not going to get an opaque tint like you're going to do with the Just Resin. This is going to be more of like a translucent, transparent color.
Not all whites are the same color anyways.
Right,
so
exactly.
You'll still be able to see them.
You want to be really careful when you do add spray paint. If you add too much, you'll make your resin really liquidy. Okay, you ready to do this?
That's it?
That's it. All right, so I'm taking a bucket. I have the resin that we poured out. It's in here. So we're just gonna start adding spray paint. So I'm gonna kind of prime the bucket a little bit. And I'm gonna come in, this is Dark Copper by Rust-Oleum. I just kind of prime my bucket a little bit. Now, if we were by ourselves, we would be wearing masks, but we can't talk, and that's really the only thing that has VOCs on this entire project is the spray paint. The resin that we're using by Stonecoat Countertop is zero VOCs, so it's very, very safe. All right, so now what we're gonna do, you take the white.
What does that do?
This, when we prime our bucket with spray paint, everything that we put in first is gonna come out last.
Sure.
All right, because we're layering. This just makes it have, because I already had resin in there. So it's just gonna give it right out of the bucket. It's gonna give it a really cool effect.
I gotcha.
So when you go, what I like to do is just make a Z and like a 2 Z's, and then we'll start adding color as we go. Between each layer.
How much of this am I putting in?
Just kind of cover the bottom a little bit. Okay, perfect. Then I'm gonna come back in with, a rose gold, and I'm gonna come in with a dark copper. Don't stick your head in there.
I want to see though.
Yeah. Okay, let's take some of this. Here we go. You do that.
The same amount?
Just a little bit, because we have less, so yeah. Okay. So then I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of white. Now, when you put white in your exotic pour, and then you hit it with heat, it has a tendency to make these little, I don't even know what they call them, they're like little dots of color, and it makes it look like real stone. It looks really cool, but you can overdo it with too much white, so you have to be very careful with your white spray paint. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of this color. Now, if you add small amounts in between your large amount of color, then you're gonna get little lines of color, which is really cool. Okay, let's go for the white. Let me hit this. Okay.
The same amount?
Sure.
And you spray paint in between each color?
I do. The more spray paint you do in between your layers, the more of the really cool effects you'll get. Now this is a white, but now it's the white spray paint that I tinted. The epoxy that I tinted with the white.
So it does something different if you mix it into the resin versus just spraying it in there?
It does. It does. Okay, let's do some of this. Let me hit it with a little bit of white. Okay. And this is our glitter.
That's the halo.
Halo glitter. Ooh. Okay, let's do regular white. Okay.
It's making a fun pattern.
It is. It looks really pretty. Now I'm going to do a little bit more of the almond because I kind of want a hard almond going through there. Okay. Let's do this white. So guys, you can see there's really no rhyme to reason in doing this. We're just kind of throwing colors in there. These two. Okay. I'm going to come in with the white. Sure. Okay.
I've seen people do like multiple dirty pours and like different buckets of it. And then you like doing a big one?
You could nope, I've actually done all the above. You want to do halo? I've actually done 3 bucket dirty pours or exotic pours. And the more buckets you use, especially if your buckets are really contrasting colors.
It's so fun. It like slices the...
Isn't that pretty? Look, that's really pretty. I hope this doesn't come out too dark, but if it does, it will. It's really pretty. All right. Yep. Okay.
Oh, I see those dots you were talking about. Those color freckle things.
All right, so this is probably going to be the last of it. And then what I'm going to leave a little bit in the cup. And then I'm going to just dump it out.
Do you want more of this one?
Yes. And then we'll finish up on the spray paint white. Yeah, let me throw some.
That didn't even do anything.
Let me do that.
Not a thing.
That didn't even put anything out.
I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna leave this in the cup. So, okay. So now what we'll do, you'll see that we're tumping our colors over. We're just trying to bring in that extra, that leftover resin. And what we're gonna do is kind of grease the board up a little bit. opposed to
lubing it
lubing it up, which is, I was corrected.
You can lube it if you feel like lubing instead of greasing. That's your prerogative. I support any and all smooth surface application.
Okay.
I didn't know how to say it without a "that's what she said" moment.
Yes. Okay. Can you get that?
You got it.
All right. So we have a little bit of extra resin here, and it really doesn't make a difference that it's all different color. But we're just gonna take this. We just want to get some sort of resin on the board so that the resin will flow when we do the pour. Resin likes to go where resin has already been. So if we put resin down first, then, now what I also like to do is leave big areas like this. Then when we pour, we have these big thick areas. It'll make some really neat veins on its own. I was gonna take my hand and kind of go on the edges. Now the reason we have our edges taped is because this is a dirty pour. I have a rock edge because I really want it to look like a slab of stone. I want that resin to set on the edge for just a little bit of time until it thickens just a bit. Then when I pull the tape, it's gonna really give me some exotic looking edges. So, and it will probably leak out the bottom, and that's okay. It's just gonna make it slower. So, all right, when you have your mixture, you wanna be really careful with your bucket. You don't want to agitate it or shake it or move it too much. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go, we wanna do kind of straight lines. We don't wanna do circles. So we'll kind of go over here and then maybe come down here. Very organic, but no circles. So I'm gonna pour about half of it and then I want you to pour the half.
Okay.
Okay? And if you'll kind of pour out slow, you'll get some really cool looks. And then you can get, all right, your turn, Erica. And you don't have to worry about your edges because we'll get it to flow over there.
So I usually don't worry about edges. We tend to do edges after.
Yeah.
So I just did
That's okay,
curvy
you're good.
part.
You're all right. We are on a curvy table, so actually we're all right.
Cut through anything.
Now you can just start doing play and now make some really cool designs with what's left in the bucket. You can just like make little triangles, and this is when you get real fun and creative. Like I have to tell Erica how to be creative.
No, this is when you get creative. See, we don't get to do dirty pours. Well, there are some resin artists that do dirty pours.
See, like right here where we're busting at the seam. That's okay. Watch. Yeah, I was gonna say you can just take it and play with your edges. Now you want to make sure your table is somewhat level, very level actually. If not, you'll get runoff and you'll be able to see your epoxy will start to drain because epoxy is going to self-level. So if your table's not level, you'll quickly see which way everything's flowing. Now another thing.
It'll push out since we greased it.
Yeah, it will. When you do a dirty pour, we use probably 35 to 40% more material per square foot because we want flowing. We want it to flow. We want it to be able to look really organic, and you can't do that if you don't have enough product on the surface. So if you are doing this for a job, you're going to want to make sure that you take in account that extra material when you do your pricing. All right, so I love this. We can move it and let it play a little bit. Then we're gonna let it set for a good probably 30, 45 minutes, and then we'll pull our tape.
How many times have you melted your tape
Oh, just. Okay, so what we're gonna come in now, just wanna add a little bit of gold accents. So we're gonna come in with 91% isopropyl alcohol mixed with, about a 1/4 ounce of the mica powders from Stonecoat Countertop. And this is their gold dust, not their gold dust, they're just their gold mica powder. All right, ready? And I like to go high instead of shooting it this way, which would cause lines. I'm gonna go up high so that I'm actually putting drops. And it's not gonna do a lot right now. We're just adding a very small accent, and you'll only see it when the light hits just right. You'll see a little bit of gold accent, because I know that we're gonna come in here once we pull the tape, and we're gonna run some gold accents through here. Okay, so we've let this piece set, starting to get a little thicker, because now when we pull the tape, it's not going to be as fluid, so it's going to be a little slower running over the rock edge, and it's really going to kind of want to fill in those little grooves. Plus, now that it's starting to set up a little bit on the surface, our pattern's not going to move quite as much. It is going to move, but not as much as if we would have just left the tape off. So, you ready?
Oh, you're just.
I was
getting
gonna
in there,
just
huh?
get in there and get it formed. All right. So that's a good fun fact. You'll tap anywhere where you may have surface tension. You can come in and tap, and it's going to help that epoxy flow over the edge. I also like to come in with a stick, maybe an area that needs some color. I'll come pick up some of these drips that are really pretty, and I'll be really careful, and I'll come over here and I'll actually put them on the edge. And that'll help really create a really fun edge. Knowing that this is going to continue to move.
Do you ever bring that up onto the piece, or?
I do, actually, and that's, I was going to go get in a better position. I can just do this way. Another thing I like to do is, I did it earlier, but see these little tiny lines, how they faded? Those are kind of what I call fault lines, and I can pick up now some resin that's starting to thick, and I'm going to thicken, I'm going to drag it across. Now, as it continues to move, this line is going to soften, and it's going to look very, very natural. Like these, I added those quite a while ago, and look how they've already softened and started to move.
It sinks a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks so natural. Okay.
So you basically go against the grain when you do that.
I don't even think about it. I just literally just zigzag across. What I try not to do is make perfect X's, because you really won't find perfect X's. But yes, what you're saying on this one, yes, if you go across, then you're going to cause that visual. If you go with it, then it's just going to kind of blend in. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I also saved a little bit of the almond color. And because it's been sitting in the cup, it's quite a bit thicker. So it's going to make it really easy to do a fracture. So I'm going to start off the table, and I'm going to get ready to just zip it across. I want it very thin. Okay, so a real rock would have a couple at a time. So I would maybe come in and cross it here, instead of crossing it like right in the middle. So like, just make it kind of look.
And it would just go straight out that way?
So reach over. There you go.
I was gonna.
That's okay.
But then it wouldn't. Just added to your edge.
That's fine. That's okay, because it's gonna be fine. That's gonna continue to move, and you'll be fine. You can even Okay, so what she's worried about this one drip that we have here, this bigger drip, and that's okay because all I have to do if I want to make this a little more organic is just come in here, hit it with that, and now as that moves, that's going to actually be the best part of the whole piece right there, Erica.
You're welcome.
And I'll come here, and see, look, I left a blob too, but that's okay. Hit it a little bit. As it moves, that's going to look really cool. See, look at this one already looking neat. Look at that.
Do you ever tilt these?
We do. You can absolutely tilt. I don't like to tilt a lot because I know it's going to run by itself. And so because I have so many really pretty features here, if I start tilting a lot, I'm going to stretch all this out.
Sure.
And I kind of don't. That's why I put a lot of product on here. It's because I really want this to be real super organic on top.
So I like to let a little bit of this soak into something. So I pour it in the back of a paper cup because I want whatever it is that's in there that keeps it liquid. I don't know the scientific words for it, but that dark that comes up, I want that to soak in. Think of it like when peanut butter separates or ketchup separates. I want that oil part of it to soak into the paper cup because it'll bloom, and I want to be able to control how thick the lines are. I call that a roadside test.
Your roadside test.
Yeah, to see how much of it's soaked up.
So you stir it to prevent it from blooming out too much. Is that what you're saying?
See when I shake it like this, the dark that's right here?
Right.
I want
Right
that to soak into the cup.
I gotcha.
So that's why I use paper cup
Okay.
to do that. So I want that dark stuff is what makes it bloom and keep growing.
And that's what you don't.
That's me. That's what I don't
Gotcha.
want. I want to be able to control
Right.
the
I understand
thickness
that.
of the line.
Perfect.
So, but I can test it with whatever's on the side, and it's not doing it, so it's soaked up enough. Blooming.
All right. Yes. I would love to kind of mimic that by putting a few drops of gold.
Sure.
How that has a few drops of random gold. Yeah. Yes. Very cool. I think we nailed it, girl.
I think so.
Yep. This is exactly what my vision and I think Kendra's vision was for her salon. It's got just enough gold to hit her. She has gold chandeliers and crystals, so that's going to bring in. So now we're coming back over with a little bit more of the almond.
Just fixing the fault.
Yeah. I think we're okay, so this came out amazing, and what we did is we started off, I painted my board with the Stonecoat Countertop white undercoat, let it dry for an hour. We came back with the RK3 Epoxy from Stonecoat Countertop, and then we tinted it. What colors?
We did almond as the dark color. It's from Just Resin. We did a white from Color Passion, which is the base, Cell White. We did Milky Way from Resin Art, and then we did Halo by Just Resin. You can get all those from artisttildeath.com.
And then we came back also when we put everything, as we layered everything in our bucket for our exotic pour, we layered dark copper metallic spray and also rose gold metallic spray from Rust-Oleum, and also a little bit of white gloss. So that gave us our different materials, and that's how we get a lot of the cells. So after we did that, we poured it on the table. We had already taped up our edges, and let it set about 45 minutes. We came back and drizzled some epoxy that we still had in our cup, and then Erica came in with what gold did you use?
I use Montana Liquid Gold in the shade Gold.
And that's where we are now. So
Yeah.
we'll just let this set and just do its thing and become beautiful. It is beautiful. So guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did and you found value, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Also visit Erica's information. She'll give you that.
Artist Till Death is our channel. We do mostly art related resin videos, but we do all kinds of videos really, from body paint to airbrush, all tutorial styles. So if you have questions about it, we usually go live at 8 p.m. every day Central Time. So check us out
On YouTube. Yep. And remember guys, don't be scared, move forward and be creative.